Welcome, everybody, and thank you, Teresa, for translating tonight. That's going to be happening more and more on our events, so I'm excited about that. So just to get rolling here, welcome to our 2021-2022 strategy briefing. And I see some familiar names have arrived. I'd like to do just a little bit of housekeeping. Everybody's pretty familiar with Zoom at this point, but just in case there's anybody who's joining Zoom for the first time, at the bottom of your screen, there's a little thing that says chat. And if you can click on that, it'll open up a bar on the right where there will be messages that will get posted during the event, links and whatnot. It's fun. And you can also type something in there. If you have a question, for example, you can just type ask and then put your question, and then we'll collate those. And for our Q&A at the end, we'll try to get to as many of those as possible. So without further ado, let me introduce you to the founder of Field Team 6, Jason Berlin.
Hello, everybody. Hey, thank you so much for being here. I am Jason Berlin with Field Team 6. Oh my God, it's so good to see all you people. Bobby Rubenstein, Meg Holmberg, Joanne Bolin. Yeah. We have Amy Schiff with Markers for Democracy out of New York. Lori Mendick. Oh my God. Sharon Cohen, the legend, Susan Mochtinger. Okay, I'll stop naming people. Sorry, it's exciting. So thank you so much for being here at the Field Team 6 Strategy Briefing. We are going to talk just a little bit about who we are, what we've done up till now for anyone who's new here. And then we'll talk about all our strategy for right now and in the next 2 years up to 2022. Also, just before we start, I want to thank Dale, our notorious COO, for everything he does. For Teresa Houston, our ASL interpreter tonight, thank you so much. Could not appreciate more your being here. Janet and Kala on the events team for setting this up. And yeah, again, all of you for being here. So, Field Team 6, our stated mission is Registered Democrats Save the World. We were forged in the fires of Orange County after the Trump election in 2016. I could no longer be a TV writer working on Sharktacular, the Shark Week preview special. Too much cognitive dissonance. Needed to do something more than just wear liberal looking t-shirts to get in fights with my Trump supporting boss. So I quit, worked with Swing Left for a year, California Democratic Party for another year. We registered over 6,000 progressive voters and helped flip the 5 swing districts of Southern California, helped flip the House in 2018. Yeah. And that's when my job ended with the Democratic Party, as was the plan. And because that's insane, I founded Field Team 6 so that there could be an institution where we could gather this institutional knowledge. And so that the lessons we learned by doing 15,000 hours of democratic, proudly partisan voter registration would not die with that job. So we got to work on this bigger battlefield and set out to make a difference nationally with a 12-state battleground. And as you know, we specialize in in-person voter registration. We kept on doing that until COVID hit, at which point we went totally digital and got really good at texting, phone banking, social media ads, and targeted emails, as well as experimenting with geofencing, sending social media ads about registering to vote to everyone who went to a BLM protest in any major city in any one of our target states, stuff like that. And the result of that was we were able to register a total of over 30,000 Democrats across our target states, including over 6,000 in Arizona, which made up 58% of Biden's winning margin there. And over 2,000 in Pennsylvania, almost 2,000 in Florida. And we kept on going after Trump was defeated into Georgia. And so by the time of the Georgia runoff, January 5th, we were able to send an additional 1 million texts into Georgia, another 44,000 we added to the 100,000 calls we'd made before, a total 144,000 calls made. We registered almost 1,500 Democrats in Georgia, and we're able to contact a total of over 15 million people. That's including Georgia and the 2 years before. So that's, with all of your help, with the help of every single volunteer who put in a single shift and threw it on the pile, we were able to build a cathedral of activism that literally saved the world. Thank you all for that. It's incredible. It's staggering and epic what we all achieved together. As Field Team 6 and as just part of the greater resistance, it really is a 1 in a million Death Star shot to get two Democratic senators from Georgia, first Black senator, first Jewish and millennial senator. That's insane. During a runoff. And in the final numbers of that runoff, they calculated 52 more voters voted total than in the general in Georgia. That's ridiculous. That's surreal. And that's only because of the efforts of all of us and so many more who, thank God, are on our side. So yes. So I couldn't be more proud of that. What makes Field Team 6 unique is, we call ourselves Field Team 6 because, like SEAL Team 6, we're a crack team of voter registrars who go behind enemy lines and get the impossible done. We are, unlike most other voter registration organizations, we're proudly partisan. We're always respectful and joyful in our work, and that absolutely can and must go together with the proudly partisan part. We come up with creative solutions to intractable problems. We're nimble. We believe that fun and inspiration are a necessary part of the fight. Voter registration, if you're doing it right, should be inspiring and profoundly satisfying, even though it's super tough work. We also don't go away after every campaign. We're here to stay. Voter registration is something that should happen all year, every year. I've never had a job where I could afford to take a year off. Registering voters is the same. No more one-night stands with voters a month before the election. We're here to build, and especially right now at the beginning of an election cycle, we're here to prove that this isn't transactional. It's not about any one candidate or even election. We're here to serve the communities that we're working in. Every single state and district, we're here to empower not just the voters on the ground, but the organizers and organizations on the ground. And that's why we do things like in Georgia, we teamed up with a Native American-led organization who had a list of registered Native American voters in Georgia. And we had the technical know-how to call that, phone bank that list 3 times and text bank that list 3 times and make sure every single person on it that we could, we were getting out to vote. So that's an example of how we like to work. Also, one thing that came out of this that makes us unique is we wound up building Votarizer, which is our own custom-built app for registering Democrats. By app, I mean website. You don't have to download an app. You can just go to a website, which is as it should be. It's super easy and fast. We designed it to be the fastest, easiest way to register. and it holds the voter's hand. And because we are proudly partisan, we can tell people not just where and when to vote, but also suggest who to vote for. So though we registered over 30,000, we contacted over 15 million people this cycle. And that means we could get the name Mark Kelly out to millions of people. We could get, we could get Warnock and Ossoff out to people.
Tell them about the stats in North Carolina.
Oh, you tell them.
Well, so I'm not going to remember the exact number, but I think in North Carolina we registered about 680 people in that state, but we contacted a huge number beyond that. And of the people that we contacted, 60,000 of them got registered. So we're impacting by having another touch or multiple touches, people that don't necessarily use Voterizer to register. So that all counts. It all counts.
Mm-hmm. That's true. And I'm just going to do a little more bragging, and then I'll get to what we're doing in the next 2 years. So Voterizer is also customizable. It was designed, by the way, by our resident genius, Adam Lesh, and it is now customizable so that any allied organization who wants it, we will give it to you for free, of course. And you can put your own image on the front. You can change the language right up front and on the final page. You can also add to the important notes. If there's a specific candidate for water board that you're pulling for, you can put that in there too. Every organization who uses it, we share with you, if you like, the data for any voters you register with that app. So in addition to the automated GOTV reminders that the app sends out, you can add your own micro-targeted GOTV reminders just to make it as helpful as possible. We have 18 partners so far, and we'd love to get Voterizer out to as many organizations as possible. On our website, you can just ask for your own version, and we usually get that to you within an hour or two. I'm not promising that, but that's usually how fast it is. So yes, so just what we've achieved, in the toughest imaginable circumstances with a global pandemic, with no other national organization doing partisan voter registration in key swing states. We did the toughest work there is in the places that mattered most. And 2018, flipped the House, 2020, the White House, 2021, the Senate. We went from having no power in the federal government to a Democratic trifecta. That's only because you, all of you, and countless volunteers reached out and found other good-hearted people and registered them, turned them into educated voters, that there will now not only be a President Biden and Vice President Harris, but they're going to be able to pass laws and secure their cabinet nominations and make progress that will last generations, if we can hold on to it. So basically, we all together, we save the world. That's true. And we need to build a shrine to that in your heart and center yourself in that energy, what we were all able to do. That's insane. And that shows how powerful we can be. And at the same time, realize we've bought ourselves 2 years of oxygen. The democracy hangs by a thread, and in the House, we have a 9-seat majority, and that's out of 435 seats. Every seat is up for re-election every 2 years. In the Senate, we have a 50-50 majority. It's a majority so small it's not even a majority. It's the same number. But Kamala will have to build a shed in the Senate so she can break every tie. So historically, the party that wins the White House in the upcoming midterms loses seats in the House and Senate. So our mission is clear. We've got to change history. We can't let that happen. We've got to grow our seats in the House and Senate.
Our mission is clear, is to not let it be 2010.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. 2021, right now, it's the perfect time to start registering Democrats. You know, persistence is the greatest engine of change. Just like Einstein said, do something 15 minutes a day and you'll become an expert in it. Um, Similarly, just register a few Democrats a day over time and it adds up to winning elections. Um, so now I got to the present. It took me a while, but I caught up to the present. Here's what we're going to do in the next 2 years. I'm going to talk about our mission, which is the why, our strategy, the where, and the tactics, which is the how, the nitty gritty, how we're going to do it. Mission is easy. It's still register Democrats, save the world. And of course, we're all part of that. But the people who save the world the most are the voters that we register. They are about 75% women, young people, and people of color. And that is a core part of our DNA as an organization. Of course, over the next 2 years, we want to expand that and register more of the LGBTQ plus community and more of the disability community, and reach out to Muslim organizations as well, which we've begun to do. Just expand our partnerships and register more of the people that whose voices are not heard, you know, who are underserved, and make our government look like what the country looks like, make it a more representative democracy. So that's our mission. Our strategy is a 3-part strategy. It is just, I'll go over each one of these in a little more depth, but in broad strokes, it's save the Senate, save the House, and the third part, which is the new twist, is win down ballot to help us win up ballot. In other words, yeah, if we win the cities, we can win the states. And especially in a so-called off year, an odd numbered year, when there are no Senate or House races, we're going to be focusing on mayoral races and other down ballot municipal races in these blue spots in red or purple states where we can harness these races to register more Democrats. For example, Texas, May 1st, there is a raft of mayoral elections in Texas. We can use those to register Democrats who will later help us to flip House districts in Texas. All right, I'm going to go back up to the 20,000 foot view and look at the first part of our strategy, save the Senate. There are 8 triple word score states that are going to be our main focus. Let me share my screen. Here we go. These are states. I promise those dogs are not being mistreated. They're in my bedroom for less than an hour, you know. They can't wait to get out. Okay, sorry about that. So here they are. These are all besides Nevada states we have been working in. So we're deepening our commitment to them, and we get to use the relationships, you know, build on the relationships we've developed in these states. Nevada is new. The reason they're triple word score states is they all have a Senate race that Democrats can help us with, at least one, but usually more depending on the state. House races, House districts that we either need to flip or hold, and down ballot races. Texas is the only exception because it doesn't have a Senate race in 2022, but we threw it in there anyway because there are so many flippable House districts. So it's a crucial place to register Democrats.
And Jason, you might as well just mention California right now, because there's so many Californians that are part of our volunteer cadre and our donors. It's always a question that comes up, and even though it's not colored the light blue.
Yes, that sounds wise. Okay, so it's not one of our 8 triple word score states, But that takes me as a perfect segue to the second part of our strategy, which is save the house. So as many of you know, we won 7 House districts in the midterms in 2018. We lost 4 of those just now in 2020. That hurt a lot. We can get them all back. One of them, best example is CA 25, where Mike Garcia, who voted to overturn the results of the election hours after the coup, he won by 333 votes. He's not going to get another term. We're going to be able to take him out of office. And I mean, you know, what we were deprived of this time is I can't speak English for a second, hang on. Our greatest weapon is our ground game as Democrats. We didn't have that this time because of COVID. With that, we will absolutely be able to take these districts back. So that's what I'm talking about, districts 21, where TJ Cox was beaten by David Valadao, 25, where Mike Garcia beat Christy Smith, 39, where Young Kim beat Gil Cisneros, and 48, where Michelle Steele beat Harley Ruda. We have a different map we're working on. It will look as nice as this, where there are districts in 39 states that we need to register Democrats in. We're going to be encouraging people once it's safe. It's not yet, but once COVID subsides and it's safe, hopefully in 3 to 6 months, 6 months, maybe. We'll be rolling out COVID safe protocols for registering voters, and basically whatever state you're in, you can find, there will be districts either in your state or close by where you can go to register Democrats. Diving back into California, those 4 districts, we will be throwing an event for within the next month, where we will be trying to raise money so we can buy data on eligible voters in those districts deemed likely Democrats, and we will then be able to postcard to them and phone bank for free. You know, and if we raise enough money, may be able to get an auto dialer, may be able to text to them. Those are other options, but those 4 we're definitely focusing on. Okay, gonna stop this share. Okay, so growing the Senate, we have the 8 triple word score states. Each one of those is in it also for the House. Growing the House, there's a wider map. If people don't live in or can't get to one of those 8 triple word score states. And the down ballot races include lots of mayoral races this year, starting with a bunch May 1st in Texas, and then November 2nd, we have races in Miami, St. Petersburg, and Hialeah in Florida, in Atlanta, big one for Keisha Lance Bottoms, in Charlotte, North Carolina, as well as Raleigh, Greensboro, and Durham, in Pittsburgh, as well as a state Supreme Court race and the Philadelphia DA race, all the same day, November 2nd. And so we'll be pushing towards those over the course of the year. In addition to that, you know, there are down ballot races where whatever Democrat we register in these states can help us, for example, get rid of Governor Doug Ducey in Arizona, get rid of Governor Ron DeSantis, racist animal, in Florida, Greg Abbott, huge voter suppressor in Texas, and Brian Kemp in Georgia, especially if someone, you know, whose name might rhyme with Shmacy Schmabrams decides to run. So that's the outline of our strategy. We have a bonus strategy that's going on right now to be nimble and react to what's going on, you know, in the world. It's the Adopt a Traitor campaign. And what that is, I'll just explain it quickly. There's 147 Republicans who, hours after the attempted coup on January 6th, that we're all watching today, the footage of, they voted to overturn the results of the 2020 election. 147 Republicans. We did a deep data dive on them and found the ones that are most vulnerable, because many, of course, are in blood red states or districts that can't really be touched. We found the top 5 most vulnerable. And we have already launched 3 phone banks, thanks to Gina Mervis and Ashley Craig, Mervis Reisig, Gina Harris.
They're on the call.
Yes, thank you so much for being our phone bank angels. And because of them, we have phone banks set up into these top 3 most flippable districts. These are districts where in our database, we've amassed a database over the last year of 15 million contacts, mainly eligible voters who are deemed likely Democrats. So within our database, in each one of these congressional districts, we have more likely Dems who are unregistered to contact than the number of Republican votes these representatives won by. So we have a good shot at doing some real good here, registering Democrats in the districts. They include Beth Van Dyne from Texas's 24th. They include Representative, boo. They include Representative Carlos Jimenez in Florida's 26th and Richard Hudson in North Carolina's 8th. Those are our top 3 most flippable traders. And you can check out our volunteer ops page on our website and sign up for those now. We need people, especially for the Florida one. Yeah, Gina's going to give me people. We are also going to be rolling out postcarding into these districts, adopt a trade of postcarding. And let me see, I want to make sure I hit everything while maintaining an organic conversational style. Okay, so we've covered mission and strategy, onto tactics, how we're going to do all this. Text banking, intermittently, hopefully starting in March as funds allow. Texting is very effective, but also very expensive. So we're raising money for that. And we're hoping to start texting into Texas in March for the May 1st mayoral races. Phone banking has already begun, thanks to our phone bank angels. Signed up now for North Carolina, Texas, and Florida. We're also doing postcarding, like I mentioned, and I would love to hand it over to Dale to talk about our nascent postcarding program.
Great. So we were talking about what can we do with all of this big pile of data that we're sitting on, because we have 15 million records that we purchased in 2020 in the run-up to the Georgia runoff. And of course, phone banking is one of the things that we can do immediately. And of course, texting and targeted ads and all the other touches we'll do later once we raise some more money. But we started talking about postcarding, and postcarding has been used a lot for get out the vote efforts. But as far as we know, it hasn't been used very often for registering people to vote. And so we were like, well, what if we did a registration effort with postcarding? And there are a lot of volunteers, including our own events team lead, Janet Ho, who's on the call tonight, who have done a lot of postcarding and love it. And there are lots of people who don't like to talk to people on the phone. That would be me, who like to postcard. And so we're like, great, let's put that together. And we have all these addresses in our swing states. Let's start figuring that out. So I mentioned in passing at one of our meetings with our super volunteers, it's essentially our board of directors, that I was looking to put together this postcarding program. We needed art for the postcards. I was interested in doing something that was artistic, that didn't just say vote and have flags on it, but something that you would want to keep after you got it in the mail, so that it would be around and it would keep reminding you to register to vote, or to, get your friend to register to vote. And I said, something like Shepard Fairey. And Shepard Fairey is the street artist who's very famous for the Obama Hope poster. And he's gone on to help a lot of really progressive organizations like March for Our Lives and the Women's March and Black Lives Matter, et cetera. And I said, something like Shepard Fairey, some piece of art that you would want to keep. That's what I want. Well, that one of the people in that conversation just happened to know somebody who knew Shepard Fairey, reached out, and he said yes. So we now have 8 separate pieces of art from Shepard Fairey that will be the tent pole for our postcarding operation. And I'm super excited about that. We just made the deal with the printer today, and they're going to be available to order as early as next week. So they've gone to print, and we're going to be launching a link on our website and through our newsletter, et cetera, where you can sign up for the postcarding process, and it'll walk you through the whole thing. So here you go. Look at those. And some of these, by the way, he had pieces of art that were similar to this, but they were not registered to vote, like the woman in the center there. That was actually a French poster art, and he changed it to register to vote for us in English. I'm so excited about these. Can't even tell you.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Such good work. Yeah. And, besides just being visually stunning, just the beautiful art on the postcards will increase the chances that people keep them around, keep them on their refrigerator, and remind them to register. So it'll also make it more effective. In addition to postcarding, which we'll be rolling out in the next couple of weeks, we got really good at social media storming, tweet storming mainly, although we also have assets for Facebook and Instagram. We could not have done that without the leadership of Patty Crane and yes, and Dale, of course. And what that is basically we put together a bunch of pre-made assets. An asset is just a post. It's a Facebook post, Twitter post, Instagram post, and with a certain goal in mind. And then you can, we have certain times and days where we hold tweet storms, social media storms. They are on our volunteer ops page of the fieldteam6.org. And you can do it from your computer, just get it from your Instagram account or Twitter or Facebook, whichever you're on. And for example, we use this in the run up to the Georgia runoff. We had Patty Crane was in touch with organizers on the ground in Georgia who could tell us in real time, we're hearing that voters think they have to decide between Warnock and Ossoff. Oh, no. That's our, we got to get the message out. So Dale would get that message to David Zorn or Jeff Seeloff, who make videos for us. They would create, like overnight, literally a short video that explained, a little explainer video, like, no, you need to vote for both Warnock and Ossoff. And we'd turn that around and be able to have people tweet it out, retweet each other's tweets, get it out there in a big way. We were able to generate tens of millions of impressions with our tweet storms. So that's another huge way that we're getting word out about voter registration, about upcoming elections. Another tactic we're going to be doing a pilot program on, if we can raise the money for it, is direct mail. Sending people mail pieces to get them registered to vote. We want to exhaust every single avenue there is for voter registration. So we're trying everything. And, that's how we refine our techniques. And as far as in-person voter drives, because I know people will be asking me a little more about that. I love them. No one wants to do them more than I do as soon as physically possible. While saying that the health and safety of our volunteers and the public is the single most important thing there is. So we're going to listen to science and let that dictate when we can get out there. It may be different in different regions. So if, say, North Carolina is doing amazing, we might start it up there first. We'll keep an eye on the map and on, all the news as it develops. It changes every day. We're keeping an eye on it. When it is safe enough, we'll be recommending, recommending people go out, do this outdoors, maintain social distance, use masks, gloves, hand sanitizer, a no mask, no ask policy. So we don't talk to anyone unless they're wearing a mask. And we're going to try to do this emphasizing the digital way using Votarizer. You can use any smartphone. If you have a tablet, you can use that, but any phone will work, any smartphone. And that way it could be almost touchless. You just have to get the voter to, click submit at the very end after examining all their information and confirming it's correct. Then you can wipe it down and proceed. We're also looking at naturalization ceremonies and putting together a website where will be able to sign up for any naturalization ceremony coming up in any swing state, just all from one website. So that's a bigger project we're working on right now. But yes, those are our tactics. To sum it up, there's so many important battles ahead, and basically whatever cause you are most involved in or touches you most, whether it's racial injustice, getting over COVID, fighting the climate crisis, our problems are complex, but the solution is simple: building blue electoral power in swing states and districts by registering Democrats. And what we leave behind, unlike a campaign where, they might spend $5 million on an ad that's there and gone, what we leave in our wake are registered, galvanized Democratic voters in swing states who will continue to push their communities to the left over time in hundreds of elections. So up and down the ballot. So yes, so we can't do any of this without you. This all exists because of you. So thank you so much. And now we can open it up to questions.
Okay. Questions. Let's see. I wasn't prepared for you to go to questions, clearly.
We had a question from Lori.
Yeah, I've got one here.
Did you get that? Okay.
Yep. Will you be helping out in California in the Governor Newsom recall election?
Well, we will be registering Democrats in these swing districts, and every Democrat we register can help. Can help fight that. Can they? It's a tough one. The recall laws in California make it so easy for any group of rich people to mount an effort that we have to take seriously. Yeah, don't know. It won't really. I don't think it'll really affect that.
All right, here's another one. This is from Laureen. How do I sign up for the phone banks into the trader districts?
Ooh.
I'll bet you there's a link we could post in the chat right now, right?
There so is. Volunteer ops on our fieldteam6.org site. Oh, there it is. Nice. Beat me to it.
All right, I've got a question from Burl Hartman. What about Virginia and New Jersey this year?
Okay, first of all, Burl is a legend who is our Maine field director, lives in Boston, and has led countless trips to Maine and registered Democrats through the winter in Maine. So she's my personal hero. Virginia and New Jersey. We will be focusing on, if there are volunteers there who want to register Democrats in swing House districts. We definitely want to encourage that. We won't be focusing on the gubernatorial races just because we want to focus where there's more swinginess, New Jersey and Virginia both being blue. They're super important. And not that it's nothing's a sure thing, but we want to focus where it's more swingy.
Very good. Lori Mendick has a question. She says, given that we're trying to be flexible, how are we going to consider the redistricting process in each state as we register voters? Might it be a good idea to register voters after redistricting for those states that are doing it quickly so that they aren't able to take our newly registered Democrats into account? Better to surprise them. I like the evil thinking behind this. I really do.
Lori Mendick is a text bank legend and also a postcarding legend, double legend. Yeah, that is a very good question. Oh, it makes life so hard that they're doing redistricting this year. It's musical chairs. They're playing with our lives and our heartstrings. So we don't know exactly when redistricting will happen in any given state. Sometime between now and January next year, it seems. So yeah, we just have to be alive to that reality and know that they're going to play musical chairs with the district lines and just re-examine that in each state as it happens. It's as far as when to register people, now is always the best time, and if a certain fraction of them are outside the new district boundaries, once they redraw them, okay, we'll deal with that. But it's always best to register as many as soon as humanly possible.
Great.
Ooh, just want to throw in, it can be exciting too, depending on which state. States like California have an independent redistricting commission where we can count on the district lines being pretty fair and not a lot of gerrymandering happening. In states like California, that it could mean someone like McCarthy, who has not been vulnerable really at all, could become vulnerable, hoping for something like that. Or Jay Obernolte in California's 8th district, that would be great. So yeah, we're watching those. All right.
Here's a trivia question from Sharon. Is Atlanta mayor running again?
Sharon, our Zoom czar, and among many other things, also helping lead
Different Sharon. Different Sharon.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, Sharon Cohen, by the way, with Janet Ho leading her postcarding efforts, and Lori Mendick has consulted on that already. Okay, so different Sharon.
It's Sharon Cohen, and it's Sharon Lord Greenspan who's overseeing postcarding.
Oh, that's true. I just saw. I'm sorry. I'm so demented. Okay. So what's the question again?
Is the Atlanta mayor running again?
Yes. Sorry. Yes, she is. As far as I know, Keisha Lance Bottoms is running again and should win. It's not, I don't think it's particularly threatened, but that's fine. We can just still use it as an excuse, something with urgency to help us register more Democrats, because we'll need them in Georgia to defend Warnock's seat 2 years.
All right. If anybody has last minute questions, post them now, because we're coming to the end here. Okay, so here's a question from Michael Payton. Will groups buy the postcards from Field Team 6? Yes. So we're handling, all the printing and all that kind of stuff, but we will have software that will basically allow you to request addresses, but it will also have links to send you to purchase the postcards, links to send you to buy postage stamps for postcards, etc. So it's kind of a one-stop shop. But yes, you can get all of your materials through this one link. All right, this just in from Fandra. Do we and our affiliated organizations have a campaign targeting the most flippable GOP senators to convict Trump? If the Senate doesn't convict Trump, there's no way to disqualify him from holding office in the future.
Yeah. No is the short answer. But the reason is that it is super important. I don't. It's hard to understand how Republicans can do what they're about to do and not probably not convict him, which does not allow us to have the subsequent vote on whether to bar him from office forever.
Let me weigh in on this one, Jason.
Okay, sure.
So the answer is no, we don't have anything specifically as targeted as you're talking about. But what we do have right now are a whole series of social storms with different messaging. Now, some of that is about adopt a traitor, which are those Republicans, the 147 Republicans who voted to overturn the election within hours of the insurrection. And we also have specific convict assets, which are, urging the Republicans to convict Trump. So you absolutely can participate in our social storms, and any messaging that you want to make specific to a particular Republican senator can be changed in the tweet before you send it out. So yes, we are doing that. If somebody can post in the chat the link to the social storms, that would be great. And anytime that you're interested in doing something with us, volunteer ops on our website is the place to find it. That gets updated probably once a day, if not once every other day, but it's updated a lot. So if you want the latest, just go to volunteer ops, and postcarding and social storming and phone banks and text banks when we have them are all there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just also want to. I think we definitely have a few more minutes for questions, but also want to add that another good way to prevent him from holding office is putting him in jail. Can we please do that?
David says, are the social storms limited to Twitter? It depends. Sometimes there are assets for Instagram and Facebook. Sometimes they're not. And usually it depends on whether or not Instagram and Facebook are being particularly squirrely about political posts and kind of shutting down accounts if you post things that are political. They seem to do that for the left, not the right. So sometimes we do concentrate on Twitter because it seems to be easy to do political posts without it getting you shut down. All right. I think our last question here is also from Burl. Does Field Team 6 gather any metrics to learn what techniques are working? For example, what percentage of voters that we think we've registered actually make it onto the voter rolls and then actually vote?
We're very interested in that. That is super helpful information. So different states update their voter rolls with, different frequency, as Maine by heart. So a lot of them still have not updated their rolls so that we can check and see what percentage of people we've registered have voted, but definitely are interested in that. As far as which techniques work better than others, we track that in real time as we're, when we're doing a text bank, and we may send 300,000 texts out. You can see how many people, generally there's a big bump that day, and then it, diminishes, but has a tail of, 2 to 3 days. Similarly with social storms, it's, so it's mainly like that. It is very hard to say which technique is the most effective. Like, for example, texting is super effective, but it's way more effective if it's done concurrently with targeted social media ads and emails, So it's that idea that 7 to 9 touches is usually what it takes to get someone to register. The more touches, the better. And each one of these is more effective with the others.
This is the same thinking that goes into why you see 7 Trulicity commercials during Rachel Maddow.
Yeah. I buy every medication now, just the ads are too good. To your point, Burl, also with this postcarding, as we roll it out, we will be using we'll have a QR code on each postcard that takes people to Votarizer so they can register. And that QR code will include a a special ref code, so we know that a postcard got them to votarizer.
Great.
Yeah.
All right. And I think with that, we should say adieu. There will be a link for this recording that will go out in the newsletter this week, and it will also be on our YouTube channel. So if you came in late or missed any of this and would like to look at it again, please feel free. Thanks everybody for coming.
Thank you so much. Love you all. Thank you for everything you do every day, week, and month, and year. Yeah. Yeah. See you soon.